name is Dakota Scarborough. I am playing the role of Elliott.
I'm Zack. Yeah, you said don't look at the. Should I look at the camera now?
You can look at the camera now.
I'm Zack, Cambronne, and I play Dr. Cram in the show. I like writing a lot. I'm acting right now, currently, as we speak. But I mostly I write a lot of short stories, some plays. But when I do act, it's usually cryptozoologists.
All my entire life I was an athlete. I played basketball all the way through high school. And so I was like, not my thing. So I get into undergrad, I'm a telecommunications major, and the guy signing me up for my orientation is like, well, you need a minor. And I'm like, okay, cool. So what are my options? And he gives me a list, and I was like, I don't care for any of these things. And he's like, well, why don't you do theater? That's my department. I was like, okay, sure, why not? So I do it, and I take my first acting class about 2 years into my undergrad. I take my first one, I enjoyed it. And then I take my second one, and I decide, okay, this is what I want to do.
Dr. Cram is a field biologist who specializes in moths, and specifically Mothman. We've been talking a lot about what her background is and how she came to be specifically interested in moths. And I think it was that if you've ever had a second grade animal project and you were the last person to pick something and it wasn't necessarily what you wanted, but then you looked at it and you're like, oh, this is really interesting, and then you engaged with it and you're like, oh, there's a lot to learn about moths. And then at some point you come across a Mothman and you devote your life to it. And I think that's that there's more truth to that than anything.
What really kind of does it to me is the fact that Lucy and Elliott were good friends. They tried. It didn't work. And yet they still tried to be friends, and even the friend group kind of held together. Even though he does a lot of things incorrectly, there is acknowledgement that he made bad decisions and that he actually does want to be okay with Lucy.
Do you think that this is a world in which Mothman is the only cryptid to exist, or is one of a set? Like Bigfoot is also just roaming around somewhere, or the Loch Ness Monster is also just there?
I think we have to. I think this is the Iron Man in the series. I think Mothman in New York is the first of many, and so for the sake of expanding the Mothman verse, there's definitely tons out there.
So I want to talk about Zack, Cambronne, and fun fact is that for just Leonard and notes, because I'm cutting out my own part.
Okay.
It is very funny because Zack did not know you at all when recording the section.
Right.
But we do have a full interview of Zack about you. So I would like for you, before you start, I think Zack has, I think I was going to play it. So here we go. Just look at this screen, and then I think that's a good angle. Okay, here we go. And I want to ask you about Dakota because I don't believe you two have met yet at all. Is that correct?
Yeah, but I can list off a lot of things that I assume about Dakota.
Yeah, give me some things that you assume about Dakota.
I think that I assume that he acts.
Okay.
I assume he will have more than one line in the show.
Mm-hmm.
I assume that he doesn't have a massive affinity for the game croquet. I assume that when he eats corn on the cob, he uses those little tongs that you put on the side to have a better grip. And my last assumption about Dakota is that if he were to find magnets on a fridge with little words, he would use those words to spell out a sentence.
Beautiful, amazing. So how accurate were those assumptions?
Maybe 50-50. I definitely act. I have more than one line. I do not have an affinity for croquet. I do not use the pins on corn on the cob. I do not. Nor have I ever, nor will I. I'm from the South, come on. And the words, yeah, I probably would do that. And it would probably be the stupidest thing you can imagine.
Before you come see Mothman in New York, there's nothing that you need to know. Mothman in New York is what it is, and Mothman in New York is what you're gonna get.
Come and ready to have fun. It's a show where, yes, it's about Mothman, but really it's a show about humanity and people, and honestly, we've all felt these things, one way or shape or form. So come with an open heart, and I hope everyone shares their thoughts.